Captain's log, Stardate 8329.4. The Argo is en route to Starbase 123 to repair several hull breaches caused by what I now believe to be forces associated with the Terran Empire. The information provided by Varric, a temporal agent from the same future organization as Lieutenant Jensen, indicates the same Terran Empire encountered by James Kirk 20-some years ago has revived into the 31st century in its home dimension, and has now been using its own temporal agents to facilitate a secret invasion of our own space-time continuum. The existence of doppelgangers like the ones the crew of the Enterprise encountered years ago in the mirror dimension does much to explain the apparent clones of Commanders Beckman and Wartburg we have encountered recently. These are the forces that are responsible for the secret shipyard in the Shackleton Reach, the work of Avalon Dynamics, the plague on Denasia, the attempts to plunge the Federation into war with the Klingons, the murder of Admiral Marcus and his crew, the recent damage to the Argo, and the rescue of the person I now believe to be a mirror Jensen from the Terran Empire. Jensen herself, our Jensen, has been healed by Varric and has returned to their future for debriefing and further orders. She should return shortly, although it has been several days now, which is worrisome considering these people are time travelers. Varric also made some modifications to the Argo to help protect us from further hostile shipboard incursions by Imperial agents. Communications with Starfleet Command are still out, so we're going to have to make do with the Argo and whatever friendly forces that are already in this sector. After repair and resupply, I intend to try and determine how and where the Empire is crossing from the mirror dimension into our own. If we can shut that down, we've effectively cut their lines of supply. Then we deal with the shipyard, but for that, we're going to need help. I've asked Commander Wartburg to use his contacts on Taurelia to try and get word to Captain Mitsugi, but so far, she has continued to run comm silent. End log.
All right, we start the beginning scene on board the. You're not there. On the bridge of the Argo. You're probably about an hour or two out from Starbase 123, though eerily lately you have not received any communications from Starbase 123.
Is Wartburg back up to where he's on the bridge, or?
It's been a couple days. I would assume he's fully healed by now.
Right. And at some point, I would have gotten together with Martel and him to reinitialize his command codes and all that good stuff, and so that he can resume his first officer's stuff.
I went to resize your token and you moved it at the same time.
You'll never catch me. No. Okay. Yeah. So Wartburg will, since he's back to duty, and both. He will be at his station, just minding the sensor readings, keeping occasionally checking his pad to check on anything that needs commander attention. Are we resting at green alert right now? Are we flying along with yellow alert given our status, or are we okay?
Yeah, I would say we're probably at yellow alert.
Okay. So I'm definitely at my station then, because it's a yellow alert status.
Yeah. Commander von Wartburg, as soon as we're in range of long-range sensors, so see if you can't get us a view on Starbase 123. Lieutenant Mira, any answers to our hails to the Starbase yet?
I'm afraid not, Captain. I'm continuing trying to raise them, but all I get is static.
Let me know if you get anything.
Lieutenant Mira, is there any problem with the substations along the way? Are we getting to them? I guess is more my worry.
Unfortunately, communications are kind of spotty in this region with 3 relay stations down.
Yeah, that would do it.
And still nothing from Starfleet Command, I assume.
This far out, Captain, it would take months to receive a signal from them, and months just transferring one.
I remember when they were proposing this. I was at the meeting where they were talking about the Shackleton expansion. It's bold move, like the earlier days, but geez, I don't know. It being this far away, this from the core, it's hard to keep it enforced. Can't imagine anyone working out here when they were first starting out.
Well, have to open up new spaces, and still fairly sparsely settled, although I think the Federation is claiming more than we really have the resources out this way to properly patrol. As far as that goes, we haven't encountered any ships that I would consider particularly friendly. I'm beginning to wonder if the Hornet and the Avenger were even truly ours.
Yeah, it's hard to say without challenging their command codes and checking against command. We have to kind of take them at their word for it this far out.
I would point out that they did not respond to my command code.
Yeah,
Yes.
procedure. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, not to mention that they were apparently ready to knife you rather than take you into custody, or their security personnel were. Thus far, Starbase 123 has been behaving according to all normal protocols and procedures. The fact that we can't get in touch with them now concerns me. That was one of our strongest assets in the region. Commander Von Wartburg, can you set up our sensors to automatically, as part of the standard scans, to examine the quantum resonance of vessels and constructs we might meet?
I could put it as part of the standing order, sir. Yes. It will add it'll add a little extra time to the scan, but I don't think it'll be a significant increase on our resources.
Well, it might give us an edge in identifying friend from foe. We're going to need every edge we can get.
All right. To Trey, keep an eye out on the program beta for me. I'll work on the captain's order. As Wolfgang will try to program the sensors, so that's part of our standard sweep. Well, Chitre keeps an eye out on for the Starbase.
Trying to figure out what should make this roll. It's definitely gonna be an advantage, so difficulty 2.
Okay.
Thinking control plus engineering. Or science. I can see science. Assisted by the ship's computers plus whichever one you choose to default to. So engineering or science.
Wolfgang will touch a control on his panel. Commander Wolfgang to Lieutenant Commander Martel.
Martel here.
I'm sending a program package request for you. I'm looking to add a new feature to the sensors on the captain's order. Could you take a look at it, see if you might have a better crack at it than I do? I'll try to assist you from up here as best I can, but this seems more like your bailiwick than mine.
I'll see what I can do, Commander.
Thanks, Martel. because I think your control engineering is better than my control science. So you're probably better at this than I am.
It is a 17.
Yeah, it's better than mine. May I assist Martel with this? From the bridge? Okay. I don't have a focus. I know I don't. Oh, well, team dynamics, actually, because I'm getting Martel to do it and helping him coordinate and stuff. I'm reaching, I know.
Add increased complication.
You probably got this, Martel. Let's not increase the complication.
Well, I have no focus either unless computers will count.
No, it would be like sensor. Well, I can see sensor operations for a focus. There is another one. It's not maintenance.
Probably something like sensor systems or something like that.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have a focus, then I'll try. I'll push the complication then, just in case you need my roll.
What's the diff? 2?
2. Then my things fire, so don't have to worry about my talents.
Well, I'll take a threat.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you gain 3 momentum. There's a complication.
It's me that caused it, so I can we could quash it with momentum.
Well, I was just thinking, I have technical expertise. Could you re-roll with that?
No.
It helps you re-roll or the ship re-roll. It doesn't help me.
Okay, I was hoping.
I thought about that too. I was like, oh no. Yeah, I'll quash that. Sorry.
It's okay. We got one. We had none.
Yeah, sensor calibration was the other focus I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, you've pre-programmed the ship sensors to kind of identify the different quantum signatures between the mirror universe and the prime universe.
Thanks for the help, Martel. Sorry that original formula didn't work. I'm glad you caught the error.
Oh, not a problem there, Commander.
Bridge out. Captain, sensors have been calibrated. We should be seeing our temporal friend or foe should automatically be part of the sensor readings now. And I think Rayburn, you should be able to see it as well, since it'll be part of the central system.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Good work, number 1.
What works all Martel. I just, I supervised. He kind of grins at that. Well, they keep saying I have to delegate more. At least that's what the counselor tells me. Rayburn, do you know how well defended the a Starbase this far out would be? Like what would it take to take Starbase 123 if they were endangered?
That would take, I would assume, a lot, but I'll wait for the GM to inform my character.
Are you looking it up in the databanks of the Argo, or are you kind of going from memory?
For this, I would say I'm just going from my own tactical experience of what a station of that size would probably know or be able to accomplish.
Give me insight plus security. Difficulty of 1.
Difficulty of
1. Okay.
He's probably hacking his lungs out.
Can I use combat tactics as a focus?
Oops.
No.
Okay.
Gain a momentum.
Yay, momentum.
Sensors contact. Long range sensors pick up at Starbase 123. No other contacts.
Sorry, what was that? My cat was biting me.
We have a sensor contact, sir. Long range sensors picks up Starbase 123. No other ship traffic in area.
Any answers to our hails, Mira?
That's a negative, Captain.
Maintain yellow alert. Continuous scans of Starbase 123 and the space surrounding it. We're in no shape to be taken by surprise.
Aye, sir. Initiating sensor sweep now.
And did I decide how much the station could take? Sir, station of that magnitude would have about 12 phaser and photon torpedo emplacements. It'd take at least a small fleet to confidently engage a fortification of that magnitude.
So if
Let's
they are
not-
in trouble, it has to be a huge fleet for them to be in any danger. Well, good to know raiders can't take them.
Well, keep in mind that we're also dealing with an enemy that can apparently beam on board Federation vessels and set very powerful bombs with a very low rate of detection. You might not need a fleet if you placed a few powerful enough charges in just the right spots. But, at least from what we can see, the station appears to be intact.
I'm performing a secondary sweep for any possible cloaked ships. Technology is not along the way, is not on the path of seeing cloaked ships easily, but if we get lucky, someone might have forgotten how to tune it. And once I've done that, sir, I'll focus the sensors on the station, see if we can get better detail on why they're not responding. Maybe their subspace transceivers damaged or some anomalies in the area. Who knows? Hard to say at this distance. Sensors confirm no cloaked vessels that we can detect in the area. Which isn't the most comforting thing I know, but...
Continue on course then, Mr. Novix.
All right, we're gonna go jump to scene 2. So you go down 1 momentum. The Argo drops out of warp just outside the Starbase, and on the view screen you would normally think to see a well lit up Starbase. This particular one is what is considered to be a watchtower class. It's not as big as the ones around Earth and other certain areas, but it was definitely built roughly about 15 years ago, during kind of the height of the exploratory age during, the Captain Kirk TOS type era.
One of our boom eras.
Yeah.
But it appears that the lights are flickering on the station, as well as it looks almost like some scorch marks on the outer hull.
Anything, Mira?
I'm getting nothing, Captain. Not even a general distress beacon.
Give us an idea what's happening over there, Commander Vortberg.
Focusing scanners on the Starbase now.
That would be a reason plus science, assisted by the ship's sensors plus science, difficulty of 1.
I'll throw a momentum at it for an extra die. Hey.
Gain 2 momentum.
Stand by. Captain, it appears sensors read that it appears the Starbase has been attacked recently. Readings indicate appears to be several photon torpedo impacts on the outer hull. Also identifying phaser scorch marks. There are extensive hull breaches across multiple decks of the station. Main reactor is offline, as well as life support. Captain, there are no life signs detected at this time. Order, sir. Kind of sits back away from the panel.
What's the normal complement of a Watchtower class station?
Checking computer, verifying number. Records show 2,400 is the standard complement.
Any sign of escape pods having deployed?
It would appear so, sir, yes.
Given the station's location, where would the automatic navigation systems on the escape pods likely have made for?
Lieutenant Haran, Novex?
What kind of role would that be, GM?
Captain, be advised, sensors don't show any of the life pods within our scanning range, so it's beyond our current reach at present. Or our perception range, I should say.
So you can spend momentum to find out on that information, but there are probably several systems nearby that the lifeboats could go to.
Okay. I'm almost afraid to ask this, number one, but scan for signs of lifeboat wreckage.
Scanning. Verifying sensors. There doesn't seem to be any wreckage of pods either, so they must have left out of the area.
Or been captured.
Likely, and actually, come to think of it, life support pods generally aren't equipped with warp capabilities. It's usually too costly to bother. Better just to get them away from the station before it blows.
You say main power and life support are down?
Aye, sir.
We need to find out what happened here if possible. Take it away, team number 1. See what you can learn.
Aye, sir. Wartburg to engineering. Lieutenant Commander Martel, please report to transporter room 2.
On my way.
Rayburn, you're with me?
Yes, sir.
And where he gets off. Where's he go? Who else do I bring? That's 2 people already. Plus me. Wartburg will also call one of the medical along, just for the away team safety, if nothing else. Who's a good emergency person other than Ansas? Let's not bring him along. Gets a little twitchy. We don't have any other first aid people. Oh, no. I'll bring along Blackford. There's Blackford. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you think, Martel? Should I bring along Pass as well, or do you think you should be able to cover any engineering issues we run into?
I should be able to cover engineering.
And Rayburn, do you want an extra security detail along, or do you think you'll be enough for this expedition?
Never hurts to have one extra gun.
Okay. Well, let's keep Tasuba here because we need a ship gun. Call Shran up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And permission to break out heavy armaments.
Feel free to break out a Type 3. Do you perceive a need for grenades? I don't, but do you?
I think a Type 3 should be sufficient for
yeah.
most situations on there.
Okay, I'll assign one to you and to Shran. That should cover any of our firepower it needs. And since life support's down, we're going to suit up in EVA gear. So hope everyone did their brush-up courses lately. So already that's 1. GM, we pay the opportunity cost both times for gear, but we only pay the escalation once.
Correct. You want to play escalation cost once. Gear, you pay for the opportunity each time.
Right. So we had 2 on the table. Rifles are a certain amount. I forget how much they are. Looking it up.
Rifles are 2 escalation and 1 opportunity.
Oh, okay. So with 2,
I will waive the environmental suit cost only because you already know ahead of time.
Yeah.
There's no life support. But for the phasers, you'll have to pay the opportunity cost.
Yep. I'll pay the opportunity cost. 2 momentum, give you the threat. I think that's all we're bringing along, really. I don't think we're going to need more gear than that right now. Until we get there. Yeah.
Number 1.
Aye, sir.
I'm going to be taking us to red alert once we get you over there, just in case. We've still got ships lurking in the area. We're going to need to try and make repairs, even if our own engineering crew has to do it. So see if you can get at least one docking ring ready.
Aye, sir. So mission objectives: find out what happened to the station and get a docking ring operational, if possible.
Possible.
All right. To the transporter room. Tick, 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 tick. Off.
It's time for the weekly activation of Simon Anders.
All right, away team. Be advised at this time, I'm advising all of you that anyone we meet, even if they're in Starfleet uniform, are to be challenged and treated as possible hostiles due to the fact that we may be running into temporal agents. Set the stun, of course, but we detain and secure until we can identify them according to the Argo computers. Doesn't matter what code they yell at you, we have to verify. We can't risk any more security incursions.
Shishran says, "Understood, Commander. And Commander, please remember to use cover this time."
I will take that under advisement, Shishran. Thank you.
This will be a control plus engineering difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering. Hooray for advanced sensors.
So worth it. Advanced sensors, also known as how to transport people without killing them.
Right. Okay, so no momentum for cautious. So, but he does have technical expertise. So, I'm gonna try and roll it static. Oof. Go ahead and roll the ship before I do technical expertise. That was sensors, engineering.
Correct.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I'm going to re-roll 1 with technical expertise. There we go.
There we go.
1 momentum gain, and no one got beamed into a bulkhead.
Except for Rayburn, because, you know.
I see how it is.
So yes, you beam over to the actual station. This is the next scene. You guys are rolling through this way too quick.
How many phaser rifles did you guys check out?
2. One for each of the security officers.
Nice.
You beam down. You can definitely tell there's floating debris. Appears, life support and most of the main system are offline. It would appear that most of at least the lights are running on emergency power. So far, the section that you beamed into, it's relatively close to station operations. Appears to be no one in sight.
Wolfgang would take out his tricorder and scan to verify there's no one behind a wall or any weird energy signatures near the away team.
Reason science difficulty 0. 1 momentum gained.
Scans show no persons nearby, no anomalous energy readings near our location. Just us and the bulkheads, everyone.
What's the illumination like?
Damn, I mean, it's emergency lighting is what it is.
Right.
So we probably have our EVA lights on at this point.
Yeah. And Shishran will have the spot on her rifle on.
All right, Lieutenant Commander. Think we should be better off heading straight to operations, or should we try to work our way toward main engineering? Because we have to get power. We have to get. If we want to get anything done, we're probably going to need power to start accessing the most of the panels. But we may be able to get some emergency power into the operations panels and pull from the main computer. But you're the engineer, so trust your judgment on this.
Engineering would be the best place to start unless I can run a diagnostic from one of these consoles.
Well, take a stab at seeing if any of these consoles can get you a diagnostic. There might be a tertiary power juncture, and we might get lucky. If not, then we'll just make our way to engineering.
So are we in ops or just
You're outside of operations.
okay?
Like operations is the closest place to go to. If you want to go to main engineering, that's actually several decks below.
Yeah.
Oh, Shashran will take point and slip into ops and do a search and scan. Well, not a scan, but she's basically doing a security sweep.
For the 2 security officers, one can be the main role, the other one can assist. Insight plus security, difficulty 2. Do a visual sweep of the area as you enter operations.
You want to lead, Rayburn?
Yeah, I can. What was the thing?
Difficulty 2, insight plus security, and this is to make sure you go through very thoroughly.
I'll use the 1 momentum for the extra die.
Okay.
I don't think any of these would apply, so damn.
You have something to re-roll that? At least one of those dice?
I mean, I could use maybe a value, bold.
Bold, you'd have to have used threat.
No, that's a value, not.
Oh, the value's bold. Sorry.
None of them really apply that well to this either. I'm always right. Otherwise, no. I have absolutely nothing to re-roll that.
If you're thinking along the lines of using determination mission objective,
Yeah, I was
probably
thinking
do
mission
something.
directive.
That would probably be the only thing that would apply here.
And you have veterans, so you might get lucky and hang on to it.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So you can re-roll all 3?
Might as well.
Because what could go wrong?
All 0, all 20s. Freaking. There we go.
All right.
Check for veteran.
Let me
Small
get
unit
one
tactics
die.
is a focus for Shashran.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think you would have had a focus there too, Rayburn.
Didn't matter.
It didn't. Yeah. And they were like 6 was your closest. So yeah, no momentum gained. The 2 of you go through and you sweep operations, like a very coordinated, and you find nobody except a lot of debris inside operations. Bulkheads down.
Any bodies, blood splatter, signs of firefight?
No. Surprisingly, it's empty.
And as we move throughout the station, Shashran will be kind of keeping an eye out for signs of firefight, struggle, all that good stuff.
Well, that's not ominous.
Shh, it's diegetic.
So yeah, what are you guys doing? I mean, I just yeah, operations is all clear.
Clear here, Lieutenant.
All clear here. Let's start making our way to engineering if there's nothing else here.
How far a journey would that be, GM? Checking against like the map we have of the station, we probably have of the station. Are we like on the opposite end of the whole station, or?
Technically, in a way, yes. Station operations, it's at the very top. It's the typical cylinder. You know,
I mean, could we theoretically just have the ship beam us straight there?
Well, why don't we have Caleb? I thought Martel was going to check out what he could do from the panels here. Still got emergency power, so you should have some running through the control panels.
Yeah, we might get lucky and be able to get the station to tell us what's going on, so we can.
Yeah, that was my thoughts.
okay, Cam, you approach one of the main consoles there at Ops, and the console does appear to be offline. Here's the only thing working in the station is the emergency lighting.
Alrighty, Commander. So, looks like we're gonna have to get to engineering because apparently the main computer's down too.
All right. But how long would it take us to hoof it down there? I'd hate to. We could ask the ship to beam us, Rayburn, but the only reason I'd rather not is that would require them to drop their shields, and right now we're not sure if we're safe. But if it's too long a journey, if it's too extraordinary, then beaming will have to be our only option. We can't be here for too long.
Sir, if we could find some sort of central passageway, the main turbolift hub, for instance, zero gravity could really help us here.
All right, let's find it. I'll start leading the way towards one of the central shaft. And I will break out. I'll turn on the communicator. Away, Team to Argo.
Haggard here. Go ahead, number one.
Ops has been cleared. No power to the consoles up here, so we're going to make our way down to the main engineering through the central shaft. No reports of bodies at this time. But we're continuing on. Passing along advisory from Rayburn, he had a suggestion that we possibly could beam the rest of the way there. I would counter that we could possibly, with zero gravity, go the distance ourselves, but without endangering the ship further.
What's the condition of the station? How much debris are you dealing with?
GM, looking around, does it look like the place it's like just strewn with debris, or is it just like empty halls?
There's a lot of debris. There are some bulkheads that they're actually lying on the floor somewhat. Appears that they probably would have fallen when actual artificial gravity was in place. But there's small finite particles of debris that are kind of floating around you.
Do I think that we're at risk of puncturing our suits if we try to move through it?
It's a possibility.
Looking around, there is some debris here, sir. Possibility of suit breach is not zero.
Understood, number one. However, I'm more concerned about the possibility of not having a clear beam in sight.
Could we use our phaser rifles to kind of burn everything out of the way, clear the path, as it were?
With small matter, I imagine that's possible. And even if it doesn't destroy it, like with a hull matter, the impact of the phaser particles should push stuff out of the way, especially on a low wide beam setting, I'd imagine.
I'd hate to beam you into main engineering right into the middle of a hybrid spanner.
Aye, sir. In that case, we'll start making our way down. Sounds like we have a plan on how to work our way down. We'll get back to you once we've gotten to engineering.
Alternately, I could send a shuttle to one of the docking ports around operations center, and you could use that to transfer down to the lower levels.
I wouldn't advise that, sir, because we don't have power here beyond just lighting. So we can't really secure the shuttle. We'd also have to add to the away team a pilot and shuttle that we'd have to mind.
Understood, number one. Thus far, we're seeing no hostiles, so beaming is a possibility if you're willing to risk it.
We'll try going there by foot for now. If we run into a impassable obstacle, we'll get back to you.
Understood.
Away team out. All right. Rayburn, Shashran, dial in and clear a path, and let's work our way toward the main passageway. And I'll get behind you because I don't want to get shot.
Aye, sir.
So you're heading towards one of the turbo lifts, and you're going to use the turbo lift shaft to go straight down in 0G.
Yes.
Okay.
Or other similar kind of access way that would run down the length of the station. That turbo lift was just kind of the first thing that popped to mind.
Yeah.
My headset cut out there for a second. What did we decide?
We're going to do it by foot, and we're going to have security people sweeping the area in front of the team to keep debris away, and we're going to head down instead. There was talk about using
shirts up front.
I mean, you said it. Well, we all wear red shirts now, so we just have different collars.
All right. The away team makes its way towards the main turbo shaft. It's relatively close by because considering operations is more or less in the center, or at least top center focal area. I need a fitness plus engineering difficulty 2 to get the doors open.
From all of us?
Just one person. Another person can assist. Fitness plus engineering difficulty 2.
What's your fitness like, Martel?
I would be rolling a 13 overall.
That's better than Shashran. He's got an 11.
I'm thinking it's going to be Martel and Rayburn.
Rayburn's got a 14.
So maybe Rayburn assisted by Martel.
Yeah, that probably would be best.
Okay.
One momentum gain so far. I'll make that an additional 2. For the natural ones, guys. Well done, I guess. So yes, you get the doors open to the turbolift shaft, and it's a kind of look down Rayburn, and it's a long way down.
There's no gravity on right now, though, right?
It's true, yes.
It's a long way along the Z-axis.
Yes.
Shall we go down?
All right, everyone stay close to the walls, and we're going to keep security up front to watch for debris and clear the path if there's anything in the way. I'll keep scanning to see if there's anything big, but try to don't know how well you two will do with those rifles, so I might suggest having a one hand to the wall and one hand on a Type 2. Unless you think you fire Type 3 with a one-handed, but I don't know how much that's suggested in the security manuals. There might have been an update, I don't know.
Tellarites do have pretty good strength.
Suggest we use the access ladders. Try not to rush things. That'll keep us from gaining up too much momentum as we go.
Agreed.
I mean, you could just walk with your mag boots straight down. I mean,
No, there's that. Chunk.
I do like the idea of us using the accelerator to kind of pull ourselves along because we can move along a little quicker
Yeah,
than
that's true.
back booting. Worst to worst, you can always kick your feet down and mag boot, you know.
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to need a fitness plus security. Difficulty 4. One person's the main role, and everyone else would be assisting to get down to the bottom, or at least towards engineering.
I'll take one of those momentums for the extra die.
Do you want to take some thread as well, or?
I don't have bold anything, so it doesn't help.
Well, typically 4 is why I suggest getting more dice. Is all.
All right, I'll give an additional 2 threat on top of that 1 to get to 4 dice.
All right.
And could I possibly assist with fitness security via team dynamics as a focus?
Yeah, I mean, everyone can assist on this. With
Oh, okay.
Fitness
Wow.
security.
Come on, Tristran, we believe in you. You do push-ups. You lift weights.
I've already rolled. I didn't get a complication.
I said
Blackwell.
you're supposed to.
Blackford.
Blackford's the only one that hasn't rolled.
Okay, nurse. You have to lift a lot of heavy things. So
Somebody got her, or you want me to?
I got her.
Okay.
Well, in theory, I have her. Come on, silly cheat. There. Fitness, security, dentistry as a focus.
No.
All the powers in your jaws. You see. There she is.
Open a little wider.
Yeah, and increase for complication. I'll take it. So yeah, you guys barely make it down there, kind of sweeping past all of the debris. There's not a whole lot, but there's just tiny metal fragments that have worked their way through. Like you can see, like open corridors as people have maybe have tried to use the turbolift shaft to get to an escape pod here and there, and the debris just kind of floats inside of it. Yeah, you get to the level where the essentially main engineering section is at, or the at least the reactor would be.
Is there a door in our way?
There is.
Rayburn will try to force the door open.
Manual override.
Fitness engineering difficulty of 2.
All right, I will burn another momentum. God damn.
Well,
You do get an assist. I mean,
1
So-
assist.
that'd be Martell, I think, we've decided was the best at that.
oh no.
dear.
The 20s are raining.
Goodness.
Double complications here.
Not a whole lot we can do about it, so
Yep. You know what? I will let you guys succeed at cost. So there's gonna be 3 complications. If you guys are willing to accept that.
you know, I have confidence that Rayburn is just rank could probably phase to the door, so we can take 2 complications instead of 3. How does that sound to everyone else? I'm not so keen
I
on
like
3
it.
complications. What was that, Rayburn?
I like it.
Oh no.
Well, 2 complications on the table. So with those 2, at least
The doors are in fact C4 packed.
They're mirror universe doors. Ha ha. These are not our doors at all. Look, it's wearing a goatee.
so for the 1 complication, you guys hear this kind of it. You don't hear it. We can't hear it, but Rayburn and Martell, you can kind of feel the door rattle a little bit, and you see this. It kind of like there's some emergency lighting inside the shaft, and as one of you look up, you kind of notice that some of the lights are just disappearing, and it's getting closer and closer and closer to you.
Looks like we've got a cascading power failure.
That's what it looks like.
I know for a fact it can't be the turbolift car.
Shashran will can the spotlight from on her phaser rifle penetrate any farther upwards to see if it's something coming down or if it's just lights going out.
I'm talking this is like meters away, and it's getting closer to you.
Just in case, is there any kind of like, is the door inset from the shaft at all, the doorway, or is there,
There's
like
a tiny inset inside the doorway, But
If it is a turbolift shaft coming down, not enough.
yeah, it wouldn't be enough for 5 of you.
Mm. Okay, so Shishran is going to try and brace her rifle on the edge of the shaft in such a way that it might prove an obstacle that might at least slightly delay the descending car, if indeed that's what it is.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, you're gonna have one shot to get this door open again, and then something really bad's gonna happen.
Here's
Go ahead.
oh. Martel's gonna take his phaser out, set it to overload, slap it on the door, and say, "Get away."
To where?
In a closed, confined space, that's not a good idea.
You really want to do that?
In response, one way or the other, Wolfgang just is going to call awaiting Argo, emergency beam out 5, now. Like he's looking up rather alarmed.
Mercy beam out. So for the Argo, it's gonna be a control. Actually, no, it's gonna be daring plus engineering because you're kind of deep. Daring plus engineering by these ship sensors plus engineering. Difficulty of 2. Did you really set the? I'm assuming you really set your phaser to overload and.
I mean, we're beaming out, so what's the worst that'll happen to us? It'll blow up. We won't be there, hopefully. Because Wolfgang didn't order you not to do that. He's just ordering a beam out. So
Spent the momentum.
oh, momentum was spent.
Get the momentum back.
Hooray.
Yes, the away team. I'm assuming they go straight to the Argo.
Yeah. It's easier to beam us.
Beams back to the Argo, but just as you're dematerialized, you see one of the turbolift cars just right there, almost in front of you as you're beamed away. Back in the transporter room.
Well, that was close.
Martel, did you actually as he finally clues in that he was talking about that?
Well, you do notice that his phaser's missing.
Oh, Sensor Ops is going to have a nice surprise when they see where we last were. Hi, Anders.
Sir, everyone all right?
Oh, we're all here. Wartburg to bridge.
Haggard here.
Yeah, we just avoided a turbolift crushing the whole away team. We're all fine here. Thankfully, we got back thanks to some quick thinking by Anders. We were trying to breach a door from the shaft, but we saw oncoming object coming at us, and we guessed right that it was a turbolift coming at us at significant speed, which does not make sense because they shouldn't have power to move and nothing to propel them. So I'm beginning to think either something very strange is going on over there or someone's manipulating things. Also, we're short 1 phaser. There may be an explosion reading on the sensors in the engineering area near the door. Request if sensors could check if that happened.
Mr. Chitre?
It would appear that there was a small explosion near the main engineering section of the station.
I can confirm that, number 1. Was there a need to create more debris?
He looks over at Martel and kind of looks up for a second. We were in the midst of doing a on-the-spot testing of the doors facility, so everything should be fine now. I just wanted to be sure to get that data, make sure Trey gets that data and records it for research purposes. We'll be arranging for transport back to the station with your permission, sir.
Understood, number one. Be careful.
Aye, sir.
Well, the door should be open now.
Shishran kind of slowly turns around and just stares at Martel.
Leave it alone, Lieutenant. Leave it alone. It was a research project. I didn't tell you about it. Don't worry about it.
Should
Everything's
we,
fine.
procure another phaser before we go back?
And for future reference, sir, any research project involving explosives in a contained area should first be run by security, sir.
I will take that under advisement. It was my mistake for not informing you ahead of time.
Yes,
A meaningful look at Shishran and Rayburn and just looks back at Martel.
I swear, this is it's harder.
Martel just shrugs his shoulders.
It's harder to keep him alive than a Vulcan on Andor.
You might want to replenish your Type 2 there, Commander.
Walks over next to the transporter and grabs one out of their lockbox.
Yeah, because they probably have a whole case of the stuff. Well. Anders, once you get a read again, try to get us back to where we were next to the explosion on that deck. But be mindful, there may be some debris still flittering about the area.
Commander, shouldn't I just try to beam you directly into the engineering?
If possible.
Near the transporter, the turbo shaft area, there's so much debris, it is not possible to beam you guys in there.
What about in the to main engineering itself?
Yeah, it's possible.
All right.
How possible?
How difficult is it?
Complication range is 3 on this.
Okay.
The difficulty is still the same. It's just that there's a risk of potentially having hazardous material beaming into it, like small fine particles.
Is there a debris-filled space near, and I'm asking as Anders in the transporter controls, near engineering that is not debris-filled, that is less dangerous to beam them into?
That's all the way back up towards operations.
Okay. I can get you there, Commander, but it's going to be tricky and risky for you all.
Martel, Rayburn, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you believe that there's an easy way for, not easy way, but a possible way for us to possibly beam on the hull of the station, come in through a maintenance door there? Well, I suppose we would be able to close the door once we opened it, so we'd just be opening more of the ship to vacuum. So that may not be a good idea, now that I think about it. All right. Unless anyone has a better idea, I suggest we beam straight into the engineering bay and trust Anders' skill.
Unless you want to take a shuttle.
Sorry, I just saw something in Discord. Actually,
Perhaps security should go over first to secure the scene.
Well, I'd hate to do that just simply because it's that involves multiple. Well,
Shashran kind of looks through her faceplate at Rayburn like, "Stop helping." Her antenna just kind of thumping against the front of the faceplate in emphasis.
Anders, you think you can do this beam, despite the area, or do you believe it's cutting it close?
Commander, there's a lot of debris over there. I mean, I can get you over there, but I can't guarantee that something's not going to drift into the way of the beam.
All right.
I mean, it's
Can't risk it.
complication range 3. The roll's not that difficult. But
There's just a risk of
complication range
something.
3 is, yeah, you know.
Does he have a value?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has a value of play the transporter like a violin, but that does, again, it doesn't necessarily help with the complication range. I mean, the roll, I think, is just still a 2 or 3, right, Prax?
Yeah, the roll's still a 2. you
Yeah,
know,
so I'm
'cause
not
we've got
worried about making the
sensors.
roll, but whatever I roll,
Just got a complication range of 3. I mean,
Yep.
It's not 5. It's not comp 5. I mean,
That
would be
transport
like
room to bridge.
beaming into the turbo of the shaft that you were just at. That's the comp 5. Because there's so much debris in that area that it's probably not recommended you beam in there.
Transporter room to bridge.
Haggard here.
Hi, Captain. We are going to attempt a main engineering area. There's some risk, but I believe it's the safest way and fastest way to get the job done. I figured I should loop you into the with Anders to supervise over it, since this is going to be, it's not the most difficult thing according to Anders, but it's going to be hairy. So extra support from the bridge would be much appreciated.
Understood.
Thank you, Captain. Do it, Anders. It's almost like I wanted the captain to be able to use his captain power.
Can you just spend a determination and not roll any more dice?
No.
Because that's 2 automatic successes, no complications.
But you still have to roll to see if there is a complication, because it's not really doesn't work that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Good thought,
All
though.
I'll save his determination, then I'll take the momentum for cautious. Definitely transporters as a focus. Let's just see what happens to you guys.
Hey, all that worrying for nothing.
Anders, baby. Anders.
Come on, complication.
Oh, yeah, from the ship.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I'm still set up for a transporter.
We've
roll.
got
Comp
momentum
3.
now that we can burn it.
Yeah. Technical expertise from Anders, so.
Is that what? Sensors engineering or?
Yes,
Sensors.
sensors.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
the momentum gained.
Right, baby. Anders is saving his determination because you guys are probably going to need it for another minute.
Beam back over to the station inside main engineering, and there is in fact a lot of debris. Small fragments are drifting about. In fact, it was so precise. You know, you guys aren't really bunched up; you're kind of spread out a little bit. And Wolfgate, you just see like a shard of metal just kind of float right by your helmet visor.
Shishran will activate her mag boots and start doing the, phaser to kind of push to clear the area, as we were doing earlier.
So yes, what would you like to do in main engineering?
Well, first things first, I need to try and get main power back online. Or if there's any working consoles, run a diagnostic.
There's really not.
So it's all about power.
Yep.
Unlimited power.
Ooh, fancy.
So yes, this will be a daring plus engineering, difficulty 5, work 21, magnitude 5, resistance of 3.
You know, I hate you right now.
Why?
Because number 1 is difficulty 5. Number 2, it's work 21.
I know.
I love the new graphic.
Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to start off with spending my determination better with machines than people.
Just as a heads up, you could do that, and if you leave at least 3 momentum on the table, you can have it back immediately. Because of my extra
Yeah.
power.
I'm tracking.
Okay.
But I'm gonna have to do that, and then I'm gonna have to give you. Let's do 2 threat because I have an EPS power systems focus.
This is not electroplasmatic, like power system. This is actually more along the lines. This is a Mark 9 matter antimatter reactor.
So more warp dynamics.
Well,
Oh,
kinda.
fortunately, I have warp field dynamics as a focus.
Okay. So you give me 2 threat, but I'm gonna up that 2 threat. The complication range goes to 2.
You want that determination back there, Martel? I'm just gonna do this. Here you go. Have your determination back.
Okay.
You do succeed, but there's 2
No,
complications.
because it's difficulty 5. I only have
That's
4.
right.
I need to re-roll the 2 comp.
See, that's why you bring engineering teams over. Where's the difficulty?
Then we can do it to more people. Huzzah!
And no complication.
Huzzah!
So, yeah, you got it. No momentum. 7 challenge dice, please. All zeros.
All twos. All twos.
Well,
Get that,
first
all
I need to-
deltas.
First, I'm gonna roll the 7 challenge dice. Then I'm gonna roll 1 for my veteran.
Yeah. Nice. That veteran.
So you get Miracle Worker. You get your determination back.
He has 2 determination now.
No, I only have the 1.
I spent 3 momentum. What do you think that was for?
I used that one to re-roll my
Yeah.
2 comps.
Oh, right. You're right. I thought you re-rolled your dice through some other means. My bad.
What he failed to realize is he could have just rolled veteran before you gave him the 3 determination, and then rolled veteran again.
It was already done. I could have done it, but yeah.
Do you have the one that has extra work on this one?
I have all 3 of them.
Man, no fun.
Yeah, I mean he's
11.
built for the extended tasks.
11 work. That's 2 breakthroughs.
It's like Blackwell in surgery.
Yeah.
Difficulty is now 3.
Why do you think I have a doctor along in case Martel gets hurt? It's like, no, get him on his feet, get him back to work.
Martel's gonna be fine. Wartburg's the one who goes down.
Someone wants a demotion.
All I have to do is keep going away teams with you, and eventually I'll be the commander.
All right, daring plus engineering, difficulty 3. You have 10 work left, and need 3 breakthroughs. But you could get it, maybe.
Yeah, I can get it. I need to roll 10 work, but I can get it. I'm gonna give you 3.
3 threat. Complication goes up to 3.
Okay, I guess you're spending 4 threat then.
Yeah, you gave me 3 threat, right?
Yes, I did. Just
Yeah, I'm
making
spending
sure
1
that
threat.
I'm
Yeah,
just making sure that everything had reset before.
yeah, everything
this-
reset. Yeah.
Well, since I have my determination back from my veteran, I'm gonna spend it better with machines than people and re-roll those 2d20.
So many complications today.
Hey.
Wow. Boo. 4 momentum gained.
We. Aw.
No determination for you.
I spent 3. No, I'm just kidding.
You so can do that.
Can I? Oh, yeah, I could.
Yes.
I have that back. You might need it.
He's trying to get a station back online, you know? 7 challenge dice, please.
Let's do with 1 so you can reroll fails. Which I think you need.
Yeah, definitely.
That's only 2 work, so.
Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right.
Count 11. That's actually. It's 2. You complete the work track, so there's your 3rd breakthrough. And yes, you get the Mark 9 matter antimatter reactor back online for the station, and it starts humming. And while lights come on, there's still debris floating around everywhere. The consoles do light up.
Perhaps turn the gravity back on.
Maybe not turn that on because it would
Not
cause
yet.
everything to fall. We don't know what's secured and unsecured yet.
Security
First off,
stands
I
ready
wanna-
to check it all out for you, sir.
First, I want to run a systems diagnostics to make sure that we have access to the entire ship.
While you're doing that, Ray Bertrand, start clearing up, policing the space so we can don't have to worry about running into anything in here.
Hi, sir.
Give me
Yes, sir.
reason plus engineering difficulty 2.
Everyone, or
No, Martin. He actually has a decent reason engineering, so.
Saying engineers can't be reasonable? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Commander, I've got power to the entire station, it looks like. Structural integrity field is inoperable, as well as artificial gravity, and I'll need to bring those back online in order to get life support back online.
Any hope of getting on the docking clamps, docking ports operational?
They... hold on. It's possible. Everything has power to it now. It would probably just have to be manually cycled or something. I don't know. It's not throwing back any faults, so...
Okay. So that's one of our objectives done. Now we have to figure out what happened to this place.
What's the status of weapons?
That's a good question.
That is a separate roll.
Yeah, figured.
A reason plus engineering, difficulty of 1. And you get 3 momentum.
Oops.
What focus did you use?
I used computers. Or I can use EPS, or I can use EPS
No.
power systems.
It's to figure out if weapons are still online. I'm thinking more diagnostics for the focus.
So,
So 1 momentum.
1 moment.
Well, Rayburn, weapons are offline at the moment.
How hard would it be to bring them online?
You'd need a couple months. They're completely destroyed. I'd have to rebuild them from scratch.
Which, on the plus side, stations are usually given enough supplies to repair themselves. It's just a matter of manpower and time. All right.
Very well. What about shields?
For momentum.
I just feel like if we give him the momentum, he's going to say they're damaged too.
Give them momentum because we never know if this thing still because the shields are a different part of the ship than the weapon systems.
That's true. Okay, momentum away. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, that'll be next Tuesday.
So that would be a no shields.
Okay.
Yeah, the generators are destroyed.
All right. I'll go over to a panel and start accessing the computer systems. Try to pull the logs of what the ship's sensors were last. Basically, trying to get its last moments in sensor data.
This will be a reason plus security, difficulty 2, work 9, magnitude 2, resistance of 1.
Actually, I'm not the only one that just throws out extended tasks a lot.
I mean, this whole episode's extended tasks, so prepare yourself. You're
Understood.
only at the beginning.
I think I'm going to suggest to the captain we just scuttle the station. Let Starfleet Command figure it out later. There, no more extended tasks. Extended task: the court battle for destroying Federation property. Anyway, Rayburn, do you want to take lead on helping me pull this apart, and I'll assist you with this?
Sure. Although, give me a minute. I'm putting laundry in.
That's in character, by the way. No, really. Look, it's the future. Little laundry things inside our suits. I can believe it.
Got a little pocket dimension right there. Starting in
Hammer space.
the fifth dimension. Does Caleb want to get the structure integrity field back online?
Yeah,
Alright,
sure.
what's
I guess
the,
I can start
roll?
on that.
Oh, he's back.
Never mind. I'll let them do their.
What was the roll?
Reason security.
Reason, security.
Div 2.
And just because, I'll give you a threat for an extra die.
Assisting with team dynamics.
No.
Oh. There you go.
2 momentum gained. 7 challenge dice, please. Mr. Rayburn. That is 5 work down on the work track. So 1 breakthrough. And difficulty is now 1.
All right. And getting around the lockout mechanism.
Another threat to you for more dice here.
Two momentum gained. 7 challenge dice, please. That will complete the work track and complete this work task.
Whoops. Oh, darn it.
That's the wrong one. I had another one, I swear.
I think I just about got it, Commander.
Yeah. Looks like we're getting everything we can get. Short of pulling the whole thing out, which that's a headache we'll leave for someone else.
Send it to both of you.
Sir, the logs seem to show audio recordings during the time when the Starbase was under attack.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that the shields and weapons went down unexpectedly, and they were unable to return fire on their attackers. But the captain's commander surprised it was other Starfleet vessels, the USS Hornet, the USS Avenger, the USS Excalibur, whom conducted the assault.
All right. Very good, Rayburn.
Perhaps we should notify the captain.
Yes. Start programming. If you can get the station to send it, send the data up to the Argo, or if not, just pull it into your downloaded. Actually, Out of security concern, download a copy of this information to personal storage and then send data to the Argo. I'll hail the captain now.
Yes, sir.
Way team to Argo.
Haggard here. Go ahead, number one.
You should be receiving now the last computer logs of the audio logs of the station before its attack.
Are they coming through, Mr. Chatray?
Aye, Captain. Receiving them now.
At present time, we do have power back. Shields and weapons are go for the foreseeable future. Looks like the Lieutenant Commander is working on getting some of the other systems back online as well. But in theory, it is possible that we could get the ship to dock, but we might have to do things manually.
GM, is Starbase 173 in existence yet?
Probably not.
Okay, fair enough.
Though you can look up, see if there's any other stations nearby.
Stand by, number one.
Standing by.
Yeah, I will use the ship's database to see if there are any other stations with the kind of repair facilities we need in the nearby.
I will answer that for one momentum.
I will give you one momentum. Number one, I think we can either risk the repairs here or try to make our way to K10, but it's been abandoned for 15 years. There's no telling if there'll be any sort of supplies we need to effect repairs.
In that event, sir, if we do leave, I think we would be duty bound to scuttle the station rather than allowing it to remain the way it is. Lieutenant Commander Martel, how likely do you think you and a team could both repair the... do you think we have a better chance repairing the Argo here or at K10? Because that's what it comes down to, really. We need to take care... Our job isn't to secure the station, it's to secure the ship. But you're the engineer. You know what your team can do.
Since we don't know if K10 actually has the supplies we would need, it probably would be better to effect repairs here. However, the parts we need could have been damaged in the attack. I won't know until I go through them.
All right.
If necessary, just to get the hull breaches patched, I might, if necessary, just have to pull hull plating off the station to get it fixed.
You hear that, Captain?
Confirmed, number one. Mr. Martell, this is all hands on deck for engineering. Take as many teams as you need. Find out if you can lay your hands on the supplies and get everything ready. We're going to make repairs here. We want to have everything in place before we dock. We're going to be more than a little vulnerable while we're connected to the station.
Do you want me to try and, I mean, it'd take a little bit, but do you want me to try and see if I can find parts to repair stations, weapons, and shields as well? In the event that we are attacked, we might have some defenses other than just the ship.
Check into the feasibility of it, but the sooner we're repaired in a way, the happier I'll be. In the meantime, the Argo will try and lay a bit of a net to warn us of anyone coming in.
Understood. And Martello will walk away from the commander so he's not hearing his conversation and open a line to the engineering section of the
All right, Captain. You want the rest of the way team to continue securing the station? Further orders, or do you wish us to come back?
You're the man on the ground, number one. What do you think?
I believe that we'll need to. We haven't run into any hostiles. We do have the mystery as to why that turbolift came at us. I would like probably to start securing the shaft and doing a sweep of the entire area. So at this point, I think we're just going to have to send full teams to start securing the entire station and taking custody of it until the ship's repaired.
Carry on, number one, and also determine the status of the station's sensor grid. If nothing else, if that can be online, their long-range sensors are much more powerful than ours. That could add an extra layer to our detection network.
Aye, sir. In that event, actually, I request that we be moved. And Martel, you can call me. You can jump in if you want. But I'm thinking of leaving you here in engineering, coordinating the repairs, and I take command up in operations while we start coordinating on getting the station into something usable for us. Because now that we have power, the operation should be operational now.
That it should, Commander. I'd suggest running a level 4 diagnostic when you got up there.
Will do. All right, Shishran, I want you to stay with the Lieutenant Commander until you're relieved. Rayburn, you're going to come up to operations with me while we figure out what we can do with this place.
Aye, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Away team to Argo. Looking to have myself and Rayburn beamed to operations. We're going to leave Shishran and Martel here. And at this time, I don't think we have a medical need, so you can take Blackbird back on board as well.
Understood. I'll have Anders beam you to the ship first, and then from there to the operations center.
Aye, sir.
Anders will make that so.
He'd better.
Control engineering. Assisted by the ship's sensors engineering, difficulty 2.
Where is Anders? Yes. I'll take a momentum for a third die and cautious. See if I can't roll a complication with that 0. There we go. Then ship. There's engineering. Okay. Then the doctor will get off, I guess. Nurse. And then Anders will beam Wartburg and Rayburn to the operations center of the Starbase.
Directly inside ops.
Unless outside in the corridor is clearer.
Outside the corridor would be clear.
Yeah. That's safer. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Another momentum for the third die.
Do I do? I said.
Remember, I did get the one.
You gained a momentum, so.
Yeah,
Oh.
so should still be at 2.
Okay.
Same thing again. Ooh, definitely re-roll one of those. There we go.
Really daring. Control.
Oh, sorry.
What's his control?
12.
It doesn't matter.
Andrew's
Actually,
good.
the 16 would actually hit.
So you actually got an extra
And the
one.
17.
And the 17 would have hit. It's the same results, even though you rolled. So.
Okay.
And
then the ship.
Anders is showing off now. I'm doing it with my offhand. Just need to get myself some practice.
Dude, I tell you what, because once you get the supporting character maxed out, I mean, he's got a 5 engineering and a 12 control.
So 3 momentum gained.
Okay. Tick and tick.
And Wolfgang and Rayburn appeared just outside of operations.
Haggard's
What would you like me to
joins.
work on, sir?
I am going to check over the sensors and see if I can get them going. I want you to start organizing security team sweeps deploy security across the station and start deck by deck sweeping the whole place. I don't want any surprise bombs or any hidden agents with sensor dampeners jumping out at us while we're working.
Very well, although I will caution the commander that sending all our security over here will leave the ship potentially vulnerable.
Well, I'd balance it out then in that case. Let's deploy what expeditions we can afford, but we do need to keep the Argo safe in case as well. So balance it out as you see fit.
And aboard the Argo, Haggard is going to have Haran and his name Novex plot a course. We're going to deploy probes along the system to basically extend our sensor range, so that we'll have a better chance of detecting any incoming ships. Before we head out on that, I will hail the away team. Haggard to von Wartburg.
Wartburg here. Go ahead, Captain.
I'm preparing to move the Argo out of transporter range while we deploy sensor probes to act as a tripwire for this area. Suggest you deploy whoever you need to deploy now.
Very well. Requisitioning 2 security teams for the time being, and we'll get back to you once you come back.
It looks like Caleb wants an engineering crew.
Engineering crew as well.
So
Okay.
3 momentum and 2 threat.
Once Anders has those guys over, the Argo will move out to deploy the probes. I am trying to create an advantage with that.
We'll do the ship first for you, Captain. So it's going to be a presence command, difficulty of 2.
Strategy and tactics is a focus.
Sure.
And have a threat for bold. Third die, presence command. Go. Ship assisting.
No.
Okay.
But you do get a
So
momentum.
yeah.
You're just ordering people to,
Right.
do the thing. Rayburn. This is going to be a presence plus security difficulty 2.
I will burn a momentum for the die.
Get 2 momentum. But yes, you order your security teams to start sweeping the station.
How much momentum again? Sorry.
2.
2. Okay. I thought so. Wolfgang's gonna see if he can get some sensors online and see how, if any, how much reach the station has.
Give me control plus engineering difficulty 2.
Gonna spend my determination toward alacrity is prudent. I could get Martel or an engineering team to do this, but it'd be faster if I just do it now and get it done with. Because I want him busy in what he's doing.
Okay. You succeed.
So I will.
There is a
I will just kind of. Yeah, that complication's gone now.
But I'm spending 2 threat anyway to create a complication. The sensors do come back online. However, they have sustained damage, so the range on them is not as effective as they would be.
Okay.
Essentially, you can scan in about a light year or 2 out, and that is about as far as you're going to get.
Is that any better than the Argos, or is it less than?
It's less than the Argos. Argos sensors are a little bit more better.
This station wouldn't happen to benefit from any talents that helps its sensors, does it?
No.
Okay, I thought I'd ask. Oh, freebie question. I don't know if this applies. I don't know if science gets this. I don't know if it'll cost momentum or not, but I'm wondering if internal sensors work just fine.
I will say, along with that advantage you created, that internal sensors work.
Okay.
To a degree. There are parts of the station that are completely missing.
Rayburn, sitting over to your console. I got sensors, sort of, but I had some dead areas in the internal sensor grid. Advise that your teams pay extra caution when going into those areas.
A prudent precaution, sir.
Last thing Wolfgang would do, I guess, would just do a general sweep with the station sensors, both quick sweep around outside, mainly just to calibrate. That first scan is just calibrating to make sure it picks up, like the Argo, for example. I can do basic stuff. The real one I care about is doing a scan internally to again confirm what on sensors we can make sure we're seeing. Better. I'm going to actually focus my scans on the not in the areas where the sensors are damaged, because I know I can't, but the areas like around it, like trying to sense damage in the area, any weird energy signatures, that sort of thing. Though this might be a security role, not a science one, I just realized, because internal's different than outside. What the?
Would you like me to do it instead?
Beginning to think. Oh, no, I got it. Scans seem to be clean so far.
Okay.
Okay. But that's it for Wolfgang for now. Because I imagine Martel has some, and the ship has some stuff to do yet.
Martel, what are you doing?
Singing a song.
Sorry I had to go back to the damage you had sent me. First things first, I'm going to try and get the structural integrity field back.
All right, this is gonna be a daring plus engineering difficulty 3, work 14, magnitude 3, resistance of 3.
And you said daring engineer?
Yep, daring engineering.
My survival focus wouldn't come into play.
No.
Okay. I actually don't think I have a focus, so I'm going to spend both those momentum and one.
Okay. Get one momentum back. So. Actually, you have a engineering team.
I do, yes.
Are you using it to lower the difficulty by 1?
Since I didn't say it before I rolled, not this time, but next time I will.
Okay. So yes, you're at currently 1 momentum. Go ahead and roll 7 challenge dice. That's 7 work. And 2 breakthroughs.
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
So difficulty is 1. Which teams make it difficulty 0. They're in engineering.
Okay.
Just need 1 breakthrough. That's all you need. Yeah.
Bye-bye comp?
Get 1 momentum. So you spend the one you
Yeah, I'm
gain.
spending that one. I'm spending that one and 1 to say bye-bye comp.
Okay. 7 challenge dice. I believe that completes the work track. Structure integrity field is back online. As force fields hum throughout the station.
We do have 1 momentum left.
You had difficulty 3, you gained 1 momentum last time, but you spent the 2 momentum.
Oh yeah, you're right, I did.
Yeah.
Whoops. So next would be artificial gravity, but before I start on that, I'm going to open an all ship or all station, whatever call, even through the AVA suits.
All hands, maybe.
Yeah, and all hands. Basically, it's gonna be. Thank you. All hands, this is engineering. Make sure there's no debris overhead. I'm getting ready to bring back artificial gravity online. Suggest either you get underneath something or just make sure you're clear. Make sure you're on the floor, too.
Operations acknowledged.
Rayburn will look up just to make sure.
Yeah.
All right, what's this roll going to be?
So everyone needs to make fitness plus security difficulty 2 beforehand to make sure that they're all in a safe spot. That they're not gonna have chunks of debris fall on top of them.
Can I use survival as a focus here? Do not get killed by something falling on me.
And increase complication range. It's kind of a stretch, really.
What was the
Sure, why
difficulty
not?
again?
Why go wrong?
2. One momentum gained. So Sastran, Wartburg, Martel. Martel, you don't really need to make it because you're going through kind of maintenance areas.
Okay, cool.
Shran's next. She has a better roll than I do, most
What's
likely.
the target number again?
2.
Have a threat for bold security. Don't have any focuses that will apply.
There we
Let's see if we can roll a complication.
go.
Oh well.
I'll spend 1 for a die. What momentum that is.
I believe you're at 0 momentum now.
I just spent 1. We were at 2.
No, we were at 1.
You're at 1.
Okay.
All right, Martel. Control plus engineering difficulty 3. Work 12, magnitude 3, resistance of 2.
Okay.
This is like a field day for you. It's, it's what your character is designed to do.
I'm halfway tempted to do this, but no.
You know what? I'm gonna spend some threat, and we're gonna make the complication range 3. Keep in mind this is getting like life support and other things up.
Yeah.
Yes, control plus engineering difficulty 3, complication range 3, work 12, magnitude 3, resistance of 2.
Okay. Let's go on ahead and give you 3.
assume it's a game because I'm assuming you're using your engineering team to help with this.
Yes, I would be. I definitely would be by now.
7 challenge dice. That is 7 work. And 2 breakthroughs, so difficulty is base 1, which goes to 0 with the engineering team, so can't really one-shot it. And there's the complication.
Again?
Well, you got a momentum.
Wait a minute. Did complication range reset?
You know what? No, didn't.
Yeah, we can throw 2 momentum. Still have 1 for rerolls.
Yeah, let's.
That definitely
Don't
completes
need-
the work track. So yeah, as everyone's kind of taking shelter into parts where they don't think stuff's gonna fall on their head, it rains debris and metal all around as the artificial gravity kicks back in, and you kind of start hearing a hissing sound as air is returning into the station.
So life support is back online too?
Yeah, I rolled it in kind of one task, so.
Okay, cool. So he's gonna wait until on his console it says oxygen levels are optimal. And then open a column and go Martell to Commander Wartburg.
Wartburg here. Go ahead.
You can pop the seals.
Very well. Good work, Martel. And let's get prepped and do inventory of what the station has for repairing our ship, and prioritize the ship first. But if we have time and personnel, we'll worry about the station as well.
All right, we go down. We go to the next scene, so you go down 1 momentum. Give me a presence plus engineering to order your engineering teams to start going through. It's difficulty 2. Go through and look for all the available supplies that they'll need to repair the Argo.
Oh boy. You know what? Just because this is a terrible roll, I'm gonna say take.
On the plus side, engineering teams make it easier, right?
No, this is the order of the engineering teams themselves. So, yeah, that can't be reduced. Give me 3 threat.
Yeah, because I'm rolling a 12.
So, your point.
Is there any way I can assist with this? Because I did push him to
You
do
can succeed at cost.
it. Yeah, I mean, well, kind of need to know, but that's up to you, Martel.
I mean, we need those parts, don't we?
Ideally, yeah. K10's the nearest, so that's not a
So
fun trip, I don't think.
It would probably be best to succeed at cost.
Alrighty. Engineering teams report back that they find all available equipment for the Argo. However, with the complication, some of the equipment isn't compatible, but they'll have to be repurposed to make it compatible for the Argo.
So,
You have enough for to repair the outer hull, but some of the internal systems that were damaged, you'll have to modify those parts.
Okay. Oh, great. Martel to Commander Wartburg.
Wartburg here.
Well, good news and bad news.
Bad news first.
Not everything I found is compatible.
Good news.
I found everything I need.
All right. Once we get the ship back, we can start coordinating, getting everything in place. On the plus side, at least everything's going to be compatible here. The station stuff is going to be compatible with it, so, silver linings.
Agreed. You want me to start looking for stuff to fix the shield generator and phaser arrays?
Rayburn, what do you want first? Shields or weapons in a perfect world?
Weapons.
See what you can do about weapons there, Martel.
And, sir, just got back a report from my security team. It seems I have some good news and bad news as well.
Oh, this is lovely. Bad news first.
The station doesn't have a single dead body in it.
That's the bad news? What's the good news?
Well, it's all clear. There's no traps or anything like that. But I find it very odd that there isn't a single person left here.
Did they find any signs of battle, like blood, broken debris of clothing, that sort of thing?
Let me check with my team, sir. This may take a minute. My team likes to type their reports out first.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Are there any signs of battle, like blood or torn clothes or things like that? No, sir. They're not finding any signs of any kind of fights. Perhaps they were beamed off?
Beamed off, but... All right, check the internal sensors. Scan around, see if there's any residue of transporters. Also, let's try to check on where those life support pods went, because the station log should probably still have last known intended destination once they launched.
We might also want to check local space just in case they were deposited in a unfortunate area.
All right, you focus on the inside. I'll look around and see if there's anything floating out there. But I better report our findings to the captain.
Yes, sir.
Station to Argo.
This is the Argo. Go ahead, Commander.
Station shows all clear. However, we have no persons of any kind on station. No remnants of them on station. We're investigating to see if there's anything that happens to be within close or proximity of the station, but not holding my hopes out. We suspect they may have been absconded with, although the fact there was no signs of battle is puzzling. Also, we do have control of the station now. We've secured it, and we have life support and other such systems. Sensors are working, but Argo could out see this thing, so
no signs of interior firefights whatsoever?
none that we could see, sir. They must have been hit so hard they had to go full evacuation, or they were beamed off. But right now we're trying to pull through the systems to see if we could see what was if there's anything that the logs couldn't catch.
Go ahead, number one.
Of course, sorry, sir. We do have the means to repair the Argo. So it will take some extra work, but it's doable.
What's the ETA to complete repairs?
Unknown at this time. I need to consult with the Martel.
Understood. Stand by for number one. Mr. Chitre, review the sensor logs. Check the quantum signature of Station 123. It is R123, is it not?
Yes, Captain. It is our Starbase 123.
Thought so. Number one. I don't like this at all, but our priority now is to get the Argo as close to 100% as possible, particularly with Starbase 123 knocked out. That was our primary base of operations and supply, so we need the Argo at full strength now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you have an ETA. We'll head back in when we finish deploying the probes. Haggard out.
Sir. Rayburn, please tell me you found good news over there.
Rayburn, I need a reason plus security difficulty 2. Give me one threat.
Yes. Sorry, I had my mic turned off.
No problem. I gain 1 momentum.
Do.
Stand by, sir. My team is typing up a report from you right now.
All right.
They're very formal.
Well, I mean, at least they're diligent. Give them that.
Everything has to be in writing. Sir, I'm getting that logs show the station commander ordered an evac from the station ASAP.
So he called for abandoned ship. Any signs of him calling for self-destruct from the computer?
Checking now, sir. Sir, what I'm seeing here is shields and weapons went offline soon after the battle started, and the main reactor shut down after the defense went offline.
And the only way something goes down that quickly is if someone has the right command codes. And you can't destroy a ship if the reactor's off. All right. Well, it's not quite what.
Yes, now that I'm hearing it now in the voice log, he in fact did order a self-destruct, but with the main reactor down, there was no way to affect destruction of the station.
And it's kind of hard to do it the hard way with torpedoes. Things like this are built to not destroy themselves. Okay. They knew what they were doing, and since their Starfleet probably has the same procedures we do, they probably figured what we were going to do the minute we were compromised. All right. Any luck on finding out where the evacuation waypoint was? Whether an audio log or
Checking into it
automated?
now.
Okay.
Here we are. Alpha 17, sir.
Alpha 17.
Perhaps a preset coordinates. Let me check. They've encoded these coordinates. I can't see what Alpha 17 coordinates are.
Makes sense. Once this thing went into lockdown, they would have locked us out. The only reason we're getting anywhere is because we're only touching stuff they wouldn't care about.
Perhaps
Hopefully
command codes could override it.
I'll try mine. I don't know if mine are good enough, though. I wasn't assigned out here. Let's see. Computer file, evacuation file. Command code. Unlock, please. As I type it in, trying to get the computer to tell me what to decode. Identify myself as a Starfleet salvage team, because that's what we are.
You decode the files using your command codes, and there is a set of coordinates to a nearby system. There's no Class M planets in that system, but they could seek refuge there. It's nearby. I'm like, you're kind of the Starbase 123 is kind of in a system a little bit. It's just there's not that many worlds.
Yeah.
How long do I suspect that life pods could survive at their destination with no habitable planet?
Weeks. I mean, they're designed to last. If they coordinate the pods together and they're grouped, I mean, they kind of form their own like little mini habitation that could last quite a bit, but they would need to be rescued.
Yeah, they can't last that way forever.
The problem is, though, depending on how many actually got off alive and how many escape pods did manage to leave, you're looking at over 2,000 crew members that could potentially still be alive. And the Argo is not designed to hold that many for a long duration.
That's what the station's for. But no, all right. So, best case scenario, they all got there and they're waiting for help. Worst case scenario, they tried to go there and they got scooped. Although scooping some 2,000 people across 3 ships, not the easiest thing in the world, I'd imagine.
Certainly be a lot easier just to send a photon torpedo in the middle of the pods.
Yeah. All right. That's gonna be fun to report. Operations to Martel.
Martel here.
What kind of ETA do you have if we focus all our repair work on the Argo? Captain's asking, just passing along the question.
Give me a second, sir. I'm running some numbers real
All right.
quick.
Oh, Rayburn. I'm thinking we might have to request permission to go see if we can save those people if they're on that planet. But geez, I don't know how we're going to do that with shuttles because I don't think we can bring the ship around while it's being repaired. I don't like leaving officers out to fend for themselves if we can help.
Well, sir, with just the crew of the Argo, I'd say about a month.
Oh,
If it were possible to get any of the crew from the station, we could cut that down to 2, maybe 3 weeks.
that math checks out. I was hoping you were going to say something shorter. All right. Well, prepare for that. That seems to be the focus for the time being. We'll advise more once we learn more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of a different question.
Wait, what?
Are you talking about repairing the Argo, or are you talking about like this? How long the? I'm confused right now.
We're trying to repair the Argo.
repairing the Argo
Yeah, okay,
with just
that's
the
the
Argo
last-
crew.
Yes, that's the last note. So scratch what I sent earlier. That was another thing I was thinking about.
Okay,
I'm tired
So-
today.
so it'd take 5 days.
Oh, okay, good. You're not just saying the lower number to make me feel better, are you?
Like I said before, Commander, I may be a miracle worker, but I'm not God. 5 days is the quickest I can give you.
Okay. I'll take 5 days, I guess, Lieutenant Commander. Get to it. I'll pass along the good news. Ship should be coming in shortly, so we'll probably have full staff here in a bit.
I'll need everyone with any experience in engineering.
I will allocate as much as we can afford. I'll pull from science as much as I can, but we're going to need to keep the medical and security teams at their ready given the current status. And I don't know if you want to have command staffers running around trying to tell you how to fix a ship. Aside from the pilots, they're very good at filling out paperwork, and that's all we really train them to do.
Well, the other thing is, sir, there's not enough supplies here to repair both the Argo and the station, so...
Yeah, that's
I don't
fair.
even
I mean,
think
if
I
we
can
have to
afford-
just focus on the Argo, that's all the cap's looking at. So, as for the station, we'll have to worry, but that's a different problem. We have to look after ourselves first.
Agreed. Just figured I'd...
Thanks for the heads up. Operations out. Here goes. Station Argo.
Argo here. Report.
We're looking at 5 days, best case scenario. We do have reports of last known possible location of where the gone to. But yeah, we can get the Argo back up in 5. And it's possible that there's a location that we need to investigate in case there are anyone who escaped from the station. We'll advise, though, however, that given the records, I believe you might concur with this. I believe that something internal must have occurred. Because a station this big does not go down that fast without someone inside doing something.
Well, we've experienced with the Imperial's ability to transport onto our ships seemingly at will, so that wouldn't surprise me. Send me the coordinates for the life pods. We're trying to track the warp trails of the Avenger, Hornet, and Excalibur currently. That with the information of the escape pods destinations, that might give us a little bit more information. I'll let you know as soon as we have something.
Wolfgang will nod at Rayburn. We're sending you the coordinates now.
Oh, and number one, see if you can find out if the station commander or any of the senior staff had taken a vacation recently.
Aye, sir.
Argo out. Okay, so Trey will spend his determination on the ship sensors are my eyes.
Sounds made up.
No, he's an Efrosian. What do you want? Sensor operations as a focus. Sensor operations is also a dedicated focus, so I'll take the.
So he gets a bonus momentum if he succeeds.
For everything that rolls critical success, yeah. And I'll take the last momentum for a third die. Oof. That's not good. Fortunately, has no way to re-roll that complication.
So roll sensors science.
All right.
Ship. And you're currently at 0 momentum.
Huh.
2.
So that's enough to squash that complication, and with the 2 from the determination, that's the 4 necessary for the sensor roll.
So what you're saying is he failed.
But the ship succeeded. Do any of those 3 directions correspond with a course towards the, or a direct course towards the coordinates of Alpha 17? Excuse me. No. Okay. Haggard to Wartburg.
Wartburg here.
From what we can tell, it looks like the attacking ships did not make for Alpha 17. But they went in 3 different directions, so there's no telling. Khan, how far are we from Alpha 17 at Warp 11?
Alpha 17's in system.
In system.
So you could just impulse over there, basically.
All right. Commander von Wartburg, while Commander Martell's teams gets the repair bay ready for the Argo, we're going to move into the system and see if we can't find any sign of the station's survivors.
Very well, sir. Wants to hold the fort here at the station, or are we coming back? I mean, personnel-wise, I think we should be fine. You're the final call on that sort of thing, sir. I can't make that decision as the away team commander.
We won't be far.
Yeah.
So just hold what you've got until we return.
Very good, sir.
We'll stay in contact.
We'll keep the light on for you.
Haggard out. Mr. Novik's laying a course for the coordinates of Alpha 17. Mr. Chitre, let's get sensors on that area.
So the Argo is heading towards the location where the escape pods were heading towards.
Right. If I can rescue anyone, or if there are people to rescue, I have to find that out first. But we are probing ahead with sensors.
So the Argo maneuvers towards the. Towards the third planet within the system. On screen, you can tell it's not a very hospitable world. Kind of, it has an atmosphere, kind of grayish, like cloud cover.
Right.
Very minimal water, like at least oceans.
Sensors picking up any signals or signs of the escape pods.
I'm not detecting any emergency beacons, Captain, says Mira. And Chitre's going to have to do a sensor sweep. Reason
right.
plus sensor, or the reason plus science. This is my new ship. Sensors plus science.
Somebody want to take
difficulty 1.
Chitre?
I can grab him.
Oh, sure.
Some
Don't hog
preparation.
all the secondary fun.
Studies computer. Sorry. Difficulty of this roll?
1.
I'll roll flat. Should do it. There you go.
That means he gains a bonus momentum.
Nope.
Yes. So 2 momentum gained. So you actually get the bonus momentum you can spend on asking every question.
Oops. Should probably have him activated. Captain, it appears there are 1,768 humanoid life signs detected on the surface of the planet near a small lake.
Ensign Mira, can you open up communications?
Hailing frequencies open.
This is Captain Ulysses Haggard of the Federation starship Argo, contacting survivors of Starbase 123. What is your situation? Repeat, this is the Federation starship Argo, calling survivors of Starbase 123. Please report. Are they receiving us, Mira?
I believe so, Captain.
Captain, sensors show that they do have means of communication. They have the ability to hear us. They can even communicate back if they wanted.
Starbase crew, this is Captain Haggard of the USS Argo. I understand your reluctance to answer due to the nature of your attackers. However, I assure you that I am not among their numbers. The Argo itself has suffered damage from the same forces and came to Starbase 123 seeking repair. Repeat, we are friendly. We are friendly.
To the man who claims to be part of the USS Argo, how can we tell that you are friendly?
Well, I suppose I could come down and talk with you in person. In any event, I've got crews on board Starbase 123 trying that have managed to restore power, structural integrity fields, and life support. However, the station is heavily damaged. But the only real way to know if I'm friendly or not is to check the quantum signature of myself and or the Argo against the base quantum signature of the universe surrounding us. We're dealing with, believe it or not, doppelgangers from a parallel universe.
Very well, but you come alone.
Understood. Haggard out.
It's like
Mr.
also they're
Anders.
paranoid.
They were attacked by three apparently Federation starships. Mr. Anders, are the conditions on the planet suitable for transporter use?
Captain, before you go down there, I thought I should let you know that it is a Class L planet. The air is going to be very thin. I advise bringing some sort of rebreather or other device. I'm no doctor, but I don't think human lung capacity is up to breathing such minute amounts of O2.
Understood, and thank you, Mr. Chatre. Mr. Anders, can we use the transporter here, or should I take a shuttle?
Should be able to beam you down, Captain.
All right. I'm on my way. Mr. Chatre, you have the bridge.
Hi, Captain.
So yeah, Haggard will get some rebreather gear, one of those handy dandy con field jackets.
Okay. I mean, you're going down prepared, so you don't really need to spend a momentum for this.
Okay.
Give me beam down. It's going to be control plus engineering. That's by the ship's sensors engineering, difficulty of 2.
All right. Somebody want to grab Anders?
I got it. What's difficulty again?
2.
I'll take a moment. And he gets to re-roll that complication because of.
I need the ship. Sensors engineering. 2 momentum gained. And you beam down to the surface of the planet, just outside where the pods have landed. From what you can tell, Captain, they've all been kind of arranged into essentially small housing units, or at least group housing units.
Mm-hmm.
They're surprisingly well intact for the landing. But when you do beam down, you find yourself have 3 armed security officers wearing rebreathers pointing hand phasers at you.
Gentlemen, pointing phasers at superior officers is frowned upon in Starfleet.
Another older gentleman walks up, along with appears to be a Vulcan. He kind of nods. She just starts taking the tricorder and scanning you.
I'm going to take mine and scan him too. Check his quantum resonance, his quantum signature.
Reason plus science or medicine, difficulty 2.
Oh, I suck at this so bad.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens. You go on a away mission.
I'm just going to roll it straight. I have no clue. I'm just pressing buttons.
It makes woo noises. That's a good thing, right?
Well, they're standing in front of me. That's good enough for me.
Oh, I'm pointing it the wrong way.
The Vulcan stops. Commander, his quantum signature appears to match ours. Well, you're not from the mirror universe. At least that's what you claim, but
Well, right now, as far as I can tell, the Argo is a friendly Starfleet vessel in this region of space. I can tell you that the 3 vessels that attacked you left in 3 separate directions, none of which was deeper into the system. So for the moment, you and your people are safe. However, the Argo can't fit all of you at once. My suggestion would be to see if we can't get station K10 back up and running and transfer your people there. It's been abandoned for 15 years, but those old K-type stations were pretty rugged.
that station was also built over 60 years ago.
fair enough, but the weather's better there than here, I think.
I won't argue that.
And you should have quite a complement of engineers to at least make it livable. We'll have to do it in stages. I'm afraid Starbase 123 is in no shape to.
Well, I did blow up the docking rings to get our escape.
Unfortunately, the primary self-destruct did not go off. I assume sabotage.
As soon as the main reactor went down, I knew that we had no chance of surviving. So I ordered my crew to abandon the station, and we rigged charges on the docking rings to at least buy us time to get away.
Well, my teams have restored structural integrity fields, gravity, and life support. We were going to lay the Argo in and try and patch our own hulls. We faced the same kind of saboteurs. I've got hull breaches on 2 decks. But once we determined where you were headed, I had to come and see your condition. Do you have any wounded?
A few, but several of the medical staff have been able to treat them with what supplies we have.
Very good. So, do you have a better suggestion than K10? There's also, of course, Denasia and Terelia, but they're farther away. And Starfleet needs a base of operations in this sector. Assuming K10 is still even there, our enemies appear to be both efficient and ruthless. But if we can establish K10 as another base, that will at least give us a bit of leverage that the enemy won't know. How many can the Argo hold per run? Is that on the wiki, our emergency capacity? No, it is not. It's going to take my men working alone 5 days to repair the Argo. If you can send some of your engineers and teams with me now to cut down that time, we can start moving your people ASAP.
It would appear that we probably need to make repairs to your ship before we head to K10.
Exactly.
I could spare a couple hundred of my engineers. Should be able to get your ship up and running, assuming the support harnesses still work on Hangar Bay 3.
My chief engineer tells me that things should still work, although some things that would have been automated are going to have to be done manually. GM, do I know the extra emergency carrying capacity of the Argo?
4,000.
So we can't take everybody at once.
You can, yes. So it's 4,800, but you wouldn't be able to keep them on there for long periods of time.
Right. All right, get your people assembled. We'll start moving them up aboard the Argo.
gonna take several hours, Captain.
Do you have someplace else you need to be?
No, I'm just letting you know it's gonna take several hours to gather everybody up. No, if you're beaming all of us, it's if I remember the specs right, at least for most starships, it only take between 250 and 300 people at a time.
Okay, so my plan was just to take the engineers first, get the Argo up to
Right.
get the Argo repaired and get things in order for
Okay.
taking on the rest of everybody. So I'm just talking about bringing the couple hundred engineers now.
Yeah, it'll take you a half hour or so to beam those people.
Okay,
up.
so let's Haggard to Argo. Looks like everyone down here is in fairly good shape. We're going to take aboard a couple hundred engineers and take them back to 123 to facilitate and expedite repairs. Have Lieutenant Anders begin transport as soon as the signal from the surface shows we're ready. I look at the commander. Commander, do you want to go ahead and beam up with me?
No, I need to get down here and make sure I get everything organized. We need to probably take as
Understood.
many supplies as we can. We don't know what the condition K or K10 is in. It's been abandoned for
Understood.
15 years.
I'll see you shortly. Haggard to Argo. One to beam up.
I'm not gonna make you roll for this. So.
Okay. So yeah, let's get those guys in, head back to the station, and see if we can't cut that 5 days down. Why did you kick me out of roll 20? Stupid.
So about an hour's, almost an hour, 45 minutes to an hour passed. The Argo beams up the spare engineers from Starbase 123 and heads back to the actual station.
Argo to Wartburg.
Wartburg here. Go ahead.
Good news. Number one, I'm bringing you about 300 station engineers to help expedite repairs. As that's going on, we're going to clear the Argo to take on the rest of the survivors from Station 123, which is 1,000 and what, GM?
Appeared only like 1,768
Okay.
people survived.
To take on the rest of the survivors, we're going to try and revive Station K10 for them as the closest place. So tell Commander Martell that he's going to have all the help he needs soon.
Very good, sir. I'll be sure to inform him.
Haggard out. Take us back to 123, Mr. Novix.
The Argo goes to impulse back to this Starbase.
Let's see if we can't dock and get things repaired.
So, there's a complication. I need to send over to Martell.
Say again, Jim. You cut out.
There's a little bit of a complication here.
Ah.
I'm telling to Martell.
Ah.
Okay. Martell to Commander Warburg.
Wartburg here.
The only docking bay that's available for the Argo is docking bay 3. However, I'm going to need one other person. We're going to need to open those doors manually.
What kind of skill set do you need? Do you need just raw muscle, or do you need someone trained in Anything special? In a mechanical
Another
sense, I'm asking what the
engineer-
department will need.
Another engineer would be best.
Anders in space.
Rayburn, I think you're the out of the away team we have now. Wait, what am I doing? Commander Martel, feel free to take from the engineering teams we have on board. I feel you can pull some of them to
So
get the door open.
here's how this is going to work. It's going to be another extended task. However, one person will roll,
Okay.
get one part of the work done, and then another person will roll to get the other part of the work done. Essentially, one person's working on one side of the door, another person's working on the other side to get it opened up.
Could we say that POS has been part of the engineering teams?
If you would spend 2 momentum. You haven't really
Your
used
call,
it.
guys.
Yeah. Well, let's think about this for a second. It'd be fitness, engineering, possibly like 13. Or Rayburn. I think Rayburn has a pretty good fitness engineering.
Well,
last I
no,
remember.
it's gonna be daring plus engineering to get the doors open.
Or daring engineering. Sorry.
These are not like the little doors where you're pulling them open. These are like the huge docking bay doors on the station that the Argo has to
Daring
fly
engineering, POS is rolling 14. What's Rayburn rolling? I know his daring's probably pretty good.
15.
Yep.
We're actually better off sending Rayburn to go help.
Yep.
Because no one's shooting at us, and honestly, we need those doors open. On the plus side, if anything bad happens, we have someone with the rifle there, so.
Did you get weapons back online?
No.
Okay.
The station
light
weapons and shields, like the actual emplacements, were completely destroyed.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah. It's the sort of thing that can be, like, space stations can fix themselves. It's just, even then, they take just as long as starships. It's just,
Right.
And then we're looking at, if it's destroyed, God, as big as it is, that's months. Give or take, it having like a special talent that makes it fixing faster or something. When you break a Starbase, an engineer cries. So much work.
So to get the doors open, it's going to be a daring plus engineering, difficulty 4, work 22, magnitude 4, resistance of 2. Keep in mind, essentially going back and forth, 2 people are for the this extended task. So like Martel would go, and then he would do his task, roll his challenge dice, and then Rayburn would go for, and then it's back to Martel, then back to Rayburn. Does that make sense? Because it's a little bit different, not in the rules. I'm kind of trying something here.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So are each of them basically acting as a primary in their own right?
Yes, essentially they're kind of have to manually open the doors using the hydraulic systems that are in place.
Okay. Can they
Because-
then be assisted by others? Like if they each had someone else with them?
No,
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
and just I'll spend the 2 threat to even say that's not possible.
Okay.
Complication.
Like the emergency system is purely like, no, it's a dude in a alcove. It's like, really? Well, how often do you think this comes up?
Never. Oh wait.
With a 6-inch little like vernier wheel that you have to turn.
It looks low tech, but there's a lot of science behind that wheel.
There are much bigger gears behind the wall.
So, which person's going first?
Bigger gears. God damn it.
I guess Rayburn can go.
It's daring engineering. 54.
I'll burn 1 momentum for the extra die.
It is difficulty 4.
And I'll give 2 threat for the 4th die.
Got it. 6 challenge dice, please, Rayburn.
Nicely done.
There's no
Count.
stopping the Raybird.
I believe that's 5 work. So that's enough for the breakthrough. Okay, Martella passes to you, so it's going to be daring plus engineering difficulty of 3.
Okay. You know what? I'd like to use my determination. Nothing beats Federation technology.
Sure. I mean, it is engineered by the Federation. One momentum gained. 7 challenge dice, please.
That's both my 7 and my veteran.
Goes back to you, Rayburn. That's 2 breakthroughs. It's daring plus engineering difficulty of 1.
Okay, I'll just use the 1 momentum for the extra die.
2 momentum gained. 6 challenge dice, please.
I'll use a momentum to reroll 3.
That's 4 work being done so far.
Throw 1 more momentum for a breakthrough.
Yep.
I would say.
Throw 1 more momentum for piercing.
Yeah, that'd be better. You're right.
I mean, it just needed 1 more breakthrough. But okay. Doesn't matter. The 2 of you work together, and the hangar bay doors open up. And number 3. Now back on the Argo.
Where the sun never shines.
Hush now.
The hangar bay doors are open where you can slide the Argo in. However, there's a lot of debris in your path. The real question is, I guess, is Novix there since he's actually not here?
What was that? The real question again?
So I'm gonna have to. There's a lot of debris in the way, and it is kind of a tight fit because the station was not really designed for a ship as big as the Argo or the station.
Really? I suppose the Excelsior is pretty big.
Yeah, and it's more designed with the.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't particularly want to use phasers to clear the debris.
We could use tractor beams.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I just imagine you blasting the inside of it with a phaser.
I'm just getting there.
Torpedoes.
I was going to say, I don't want to use phasers. I don't want to use the deflector shield. I mean, because honestly, the debris is not going to hurt up. But so yeah, tractor beams.
So this brings us to the last extended task of the day.
I don't believe you.
Daring plus con, difficulty 4, assisted by these ships' engines plus con, work 12, magnitude 2, resistance of 2. Guide the
Go on,
Argo
Hank.
carefully into the hangar bay.
Daring con, eh?
Yep.
So Haggard has to take the controls personally now.
He
So
could.
to have a reason to use determination. Just saying.
Well, I don't really want to use Novik since he's a player character and the player hadn't given me permission, but we could bring on West, who would be excellent for this task.
Yes, bring in Ensign West, your granddaughter. I mean,
Yes. There's so yeah. So let's use West. Okay. So this is Daring Con, difficulty 4. Resistance 2, breakthroughs 3, 12. Okay. Uh-oh, here comes threat.
complication range is 3.
Okay. Would push the limits apply when you attempt a con task that has increased in difficulty due to environmental conditions or damage to the engines? Reduce the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Yes,
Taking
it
the
will.
debris. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What was the comp range again?
3.
Assuming helm operations would apply.
Yes.
Okay. She will. Now 3. Yeah, she'll go ahead and spend her determination on. I really am the best, or it isn't fun if it isn't risky. Either one.
It's a little risky. I mean, she could actually do severe damage to the ship.
Oh, and it's fun.
It's
Awesome.
fun.
Okay. So, and then I'll give you. Let's see, the 2 momentum and 1 determination for the third die to activate. 2 momentum and 1 threat to activate bold con for the third die.
You rolling 4 dice?
I spent my determination.
Right, so it's just 1 threat, 1 momentum.
All right, yeah, sorry. Yeah, 1 threat, 1 momentum. Sorry. I'm a little weary too. All right, so here goes 2 already on the table. Ooh. What's the ship assisting with?
Engines con. So far, 2 momentum has been gained. No.
Let me up the
3 momentum.
complication range.
4 momentum has been gained.
Yay.
Total.
So 6 dice, I think.
6 challenge dice. Oh, does she have untapped potential?
Oh yeah, need to roll that first.
Yeah, roll 1 challenge dice, please. 2 extra momentum gained.
Nice. Got 1 float, 6 challenge dice.
I'm counting 2 work being done so far.
It's the resistance is 2. Okay, so let's spend a float to take down the resistance, and
4.
spend another before. I'll spend another just to get it up to 5 work for a breakthrough.
You're down to 5 momentum,
Oops. There we go.
which that is 1 breakthrough. Difficulty goes down to 2. And
Right.
why not? Complication range is staying at 3.
Okay. She will give you 1 threat for the 3rd die in bold. I'm reading something really quick. Okay, got it. Ship. Complication 3.
My God.
She's a machine.
It's 5 momentum, so 4 float.
Okay. and let me,
6 challenge dice.
untap potential first.
It's a little bit of that haggard blood in her. Oh my God. 6 float.
Okay. All sorts of stuff. Okay.
It's 1
one
work.
of one of those float to reroll 3. That's 5, but only 3 work being done, so we'll spend another to get rid of the resistance, which will bring it up to
Total of 10 work. 1 breakthrough.
And you might as well throw the rest of the float into, like, or even a couple of it into work. Because there's like 6 there.
If you put all the rest of the float, it used to be a 6 momentum. That will be an extra breakthrough because it'll be at the
let's do that.
succeed the work track.
Yeah.
And Wes carefully, precisionally, like a surgeon, guides the Argo straight into the hangar bay. And at sometimes point, Haggard, you're just like, you're cringing as how close she gets to the actual hitting something.
Well done, Lieutenant West. Thank you, sir. It was a lot of fun. So glad Haggard didn't take the con for that.
So yes, the Argo is nicely settled into the hangar bay. Though I don't think you want to shut the doors because the nacelles are probably hanging out.
You're right.
But it is in enough nice position to where the repair arms can get to the various
All right.
parts.
Haggard to Starbase engineers. We've brought you safe and sound at home. Haggard to Martel. Secure the ship and begin repairs.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Chitre, keep a sharp lookout on the probes and our own sensors. We're going to be vulnerable for however long this takes. And Haggard will also organize the rigging the ship to take on 1,800 more people temporarily.
Okay. You guys go down 1 momentum as we enter the final scene. With the Argo, repairs are underway at Starbase 123 with some of the rescued engineering teams from the Starbase, along with personnel from the Argo as well. Estimated time to complete it is, with the help of the additional engineers, is right around 2.5 days. But during this time, you guys can, whatever you want to do, it's free roleplay.
Can I see if I can upgrade the ship's weapons while we're in dock?
Why are you always missing?
Got a tinker, man. I got a tinker.
What,
You can upgrade the ship's weapons for 6 milestones. Put a whole extra point in them.
mechanically, you would have to bump up the security score by 1, which would require 6 normal milestones.
Okay.
But narratively, you could be like having been like, "Hey, I've been working on it. It's not done yet, but getting there."
I have dreams, Captain. Big dreams.
Understood, Lieutenant.
I'm going to request a meeting between myself, the captain, and the station commander. If it's, and I might advise we have it in our conference room rather than the stations.
You have to go pick him up in a shuttle. He's on the surface of the planet still.
We can send a shuttle after him.
Yeah.
Unless we have a conference call about the fate of his station. Which we could, actually, if you wanted to save himself the effort, to be fair. Or themselves, I'm not sure who the commander is.
I mean, that's fine if you guys want to do that. You guys got looking at 2.5 days.
Right.
I don't have a token for him. I'll have to make one eventually. I kind of forgot to put. I just literally came up with the commander's name earlier. Like, wait, you gotta go seek the other Chris. Like, shit.
Number 1, should we get Commander Beckman in on this too? He doesn't have a tremendous amount of intelligence about this. He has some.
Yeah, him being along a consult with. Sir.
So yeah, let's get Beckman in on this too. And Rayburn, for that matter.
Jet, nice to see you again. Rayburn, morning.
Morning, sir. Sir, I feel like I'm always sitting alone. Why is that?
Well, you're never truly alone in space. Infinite possibilities and infinite persons all around you, and all points and specters of time. Indeed, in certain cultures, even in death, we are not considered alone. We're considered even more so within the great cosmologically grand scheme of all things. But that's more of a question of theology than of science, I suppose.
Haggard says, not to mention that you might not be sitting alone if you occasionally wash that shaggy pelt of. Just being polite,
And Rayburn's gonna look horrified and kind of looking at his. Oh.
You're not alone. Commander Dotson's right there.
Now, there's a very handsome, strong-jawed man sitting next to you.
Rayburn, feeling uncomfortable, is gonna move over.
I assume that's the station commander?
Yes. I'll have to make a character sheet for him.
What's their name again? I forget.
Commander Dotson.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, everyone, I believe everyone who's going to be here is here. I believe I asked you all here because I believe we need to consider the fate of Starbase 123. Since we are moving your people, Commander, to a new station, I believe that protocol dictates that we have to, since we don't have the means to secure the station that we should scuttle it. However, given that you are the commanding officer of the station and Captain Haggard is the senior officer in the area, I believe it was appropriate for you both to meet. Commander Beckman here, for introduction, is an intelligence officer who can advise as best he can. He's been in the area for a period of time that I don't believe I'm cleared to expound upon, so apologies for that. And Mr. Rayburn over there is here to advise on security matters, as he's our chief of security.
Who has a very clean mane, by the way.
But ultimately, Commander Dotson, I didn't want to. I was going to speak further with Captain Haggard about the specifics, but it is your station. It's not appropriate for me to expound on someone else's command. So, with your permission, Captain, I believe I should floor over to Commander Dotson.
Thank you, Commander Wolfgang. You're correct in assuming that it is standard protocol to scuttle the Starbase, though it took Starfleet 5 years to build the thing. It's another 5 years that it would take to rebuild the Starbase out here again. And a reason why we built Starbase 123 was for several unknown threats. Apparently, we know why now. I don't believe Station K10 will be able to handle those threats, at least in the long term.
Well, and to be fair, we're assuming that Station K10 still exists. If it does, its primary utility may be that the enemy may not know of it, or might assume that it was disassembled. Who knows? But it might give us some sort of edge when it comes to intelligence and supply. But again, that's assuming that it's still in existence. We haven't exactly had the opportunity to go check it out. Now, here's my question, gentlemen. The shield generators and phaser banks have been completely destroyed on Starbase 123. Am I correct in that?
That was the report from Lieutenant Commander Martell, sir. And looking over the written report from yesterday, it's fixable given that it's a Starbase class facility.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a matter of time is the largest issue of it, and resupplying. Most of those supplies, if it goes toward the Argo, which is the primary goal now, we won't have enough raw material. We'd have to start going to nearby Federation worlds and collecting shipments.
And the photon torpedo launchers?
Let me check. GM, would it be fair to say that the launcher screwed, but there's still actual torpedoes sitting in an armory somewhere?
Yeah, there's still actual torpedoes sitting in the armory. It's just the tubes have been damaged, destroyed.
So I report to that effect. It's like, yeah, there are torpedoes, just the launchers are scragged. There's all the bullets and no barrel to shoot.
With this being the case, gentlemen, and considering the time and expense that Starbase 123 cost, might it not be just as efficient to eject the power core and leave the husk of and destroy the power core while leaving the husk of the station in situ, thereby at least making it potentially more quickly repairable once we've secured this sector?
Captain, that is possible. However, I advise against it, merely because the reason the regulation's in place is to prevent scavengers and pirates from stealing Federation technology. Indeed, even worlds that are technologically behind us, if they get hold of any of our metals, a replicator, tricorder, anything could be considered a violation. So unless we'd either, if we did do that, we'd have to leave some sort of security detachment to keep the place secure, some sort of security measure to prevent theft.
Well, to your points, first, if we find that we can actually reactivate Station K-12, we are going to be the scavengers of Starbase 123. We're not going to leave a scrap of anything, and we'll probably need every piece of equipment on the station to get K-10 into any kind of serviceable positions. Secondly, at the present time, I am completely unconcerned with the Prime Directive. We are dealing with an existential threat to Starfleet and the Federation, and perhaps even our entire quadrant, if not the entire galaxy. If what we think is happening, we're dealing with a incredibly technologically advanced civilization bent on invading and conquering our entire galaxy.
Well, if we have to scuttle K10, as Commander Dotson speaks up, we should probably wait, or not, scuttle the station and make our new base at K10. Perhaps we should hold off before we scuttle to make sure that K10 is still viable.
Mm-hmm.
If so, what equipment is needed to repair that station? It has been abandoned for 15 years.
Agreed. I also want engineers and security personnel to start studying the schematics and running simulations to see if we can upgrade K-10's photon torpedo launchers to handle modern torpedoes, since we have this 123's full complement of that.
Captain, the secondary reason and for this meeting as well, am I clear to brief Commander Dotson on our current assignment, or shall we focus Commander Dotson's efforts on his station? I think it might be wise to inform those we know are on the same wavelength as we are, so to speak.
On the quantum level, no less.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we need to bring Commander Dotson into the fold, as it were. We need as many friends as we have, and Dotson, you and your people may prove vital in the coming days.
At that, Wartburg will take a pad that he's prepared. He kind of slides it across the desk over to him. This is our current strategic situation. It's not going to be fun to read, but it's what we know. If you have any questions, myself and Beckman can fill in most of it. And on the more tactical matters, Rayburn will be able to fill in, of course. Haggard has any explanations about the word back home.
And time and dimension traveling bad guys.
Suddenly spying on Klingons doesn't seem so hard anymore.
Agreed.
He looks over the data. Feels a little bit overwhelmed, and this is indeed the case, gentlemen. Given what happened to my station and to repeat future events like that from happening again, we're going to need a new set of codes to exchange.
Agreed. We're also going to need to begin the process of putting our crews through quantum scanning to try and detect any doppelgangers that may already be either aboard the Argo or your crew. It'll be time consuming, so I suggest we start with senior staff and work outward.
In fact, actually, Captain, what we could do between myself, Beckman, and Rayburn, we can institute a subtle scanning method where we can scan people in random intervals. That way, no one gets ahead. Some people will go through in the normal rate of being scanned and screening. Others will get random screenings. It's just this side of being within the uniform code, but we're getting close to. But given the scope of what we're faced with, I think there are certain emergency powers that can be invoked. Given that we're scanning only Starfleet officers, I don't foresee a problem back home.
Exiges of war, number one. And gentlemen, let's be clear. This is what we're facing, is an invasion by a hostile foreign power, who unfortunately have the ability to impersonate us all too well. And as far as we know, the Argo is the Federation starship, the only Federation starship in this sector. Communications with the Alpha Quadrant are still out. So while we can't give up our principles, we may have to start thinking more like soldiers than explorers. But by all means, number one, assemble your team. Make sure coordinate with Commander Dotson's security people. Make sure everyone, of course, is who they appear to be.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get this done as quickly as possible. Now, do you have any ideas on how we might contact Captain Mitsugi?
Well, supposedly Mitsugi had certain coordinates she was heading toward to continue her investigations. If she does continue, she won't be continuing under a Starfleet banner. She'll be going through contacts, mostly non-federational, I'd assume. So we'll have to reach out beyond which means we're gonna have to, myself and Beck Martin are gonna have to start reaching out to third parties to get the information we need, which will require a lot more effort and manpower, and we'll need to divert to some of the worlds to contact people who may respond less to Federation ideals and more to credits and other such currencies.
Wow. Even an old Walker class might be just the edge we need, particularly if she has the cloaking device.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just thought of something and it went away. Sugi Ray. Commander Dotson, are you aware of any other Federation vessels operating in this sector that might still be who they appear to be?
There was only 3 vessels that were assigned to this sector, and both 3 vessels openly attacked the station. So as you can see, I'm a little uneasy at the moment.
Understood and understandable. Yes.
Pardon me, Captain. Dotson, is there any ships that they're usually that you think are strong enough to fight Federation ships? I'm talking freelancers, aliens in the area, minor powers, that sort of thing.
No, but we did send a Sydney-class vessel out to Denasia to help with the plague. That was a few days ago.
We've got too much of an area to patrol. All right. Among our priorities also has to be finding and shutting down the gateway or gateways that the Mirror Universe forces are using to cross from their dimension into ours. They've done a good job of cutting off our line of supply. We need to do the same to them. I feel like returning a favor or two. So, Commander von Wartburg, I'll need you and your science staff to see if you can't develop some sort of potential means of detecting, particularly, hopefully at long range, whatever radiations or disturbances such a gateway might put out. I was hoping that Lieutenant Jensen might have rejoined us by now with some information along those lines, but we can't count on her, I think, until we see her.
Very good, sir. I'll have a dedicated research team on that. I'll pull everyone on deck, see what we can do. I'll also work with Martel, see if we can get any of his team to noodle something together.
All right. So our order of operations is, once the Argo's repairs are complete, we pick up the rest of Commander Dotson's people, proceed to the coordinates of Space Station K10. Hope that it is either unmolested or and can be brought up to working order. It occurs to me there's always the possibility that someone else may have moved into K10 while Starfleet's attention was elsewhere.
Mm. If recoverable, we'll make that our new base.
Try to get word to Captain Mitsugi and see if we can't determine where the Empire is crossing over. You're confident in the commanders and crew of the Sydney class, Commander Dotson?
As far as I'm aware, but they're all strictly medical teams.
Everyone's taught to shoot to aim a phaser.
I would rather not pull them in until that plague is dealt with.
Agreed. Although that looks like the only spare ship we may have to perhaps try and get word out to the Alpha Quadrant.
Sydney vessels are not known for combat, Captain. They're merely transport vessels. Hell, we had another one docked, so I had to destroy it just to make our escape.
Understood. That's why I'm thinking about using them as courier vessel. I know they're not the fastest ships, but that's the only ship we really have to spare to try and get reinforcements headed our way.
Mm. In the worst case scenario, they can give warning to the rest of the fleet of what's going on out here.
Agreed. But the plague has to be dealt with as well. Hopefully that's well underway. Any suggestions, gentlemen?
I'd have to speak with the medical staff, sir, but as I recall, there is a methodology to dealing with the plague. It's just a matter of administering it and maintaining the health of the people.
Yeah, the cure was being distributed when we broke orbit.
So the only other thing we could theoretically do is just add on to the manpower to free them up. Basically dedicate the Argo to speeding up the progress of of what's going on, or even having the Sydney be brought. Well, Sydney's already there, but bringing us there.
Potentially, although I think the Argo needs to be as mobile as possible.
Yeah, that's the alternative. Is possibly asking for private concerns, seeing if there's anyone who to take on throwing in their help, especially if given certain Federation consideration.
Our primary strategic target is the gateways between dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Tactically, that shipyard needs to be dealt with, either through infiltration and sabotage, or through a more direct means, or a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Rayburn, I want you to work on drawing up potential attack plans and scenarios on the mirror station using the information Commander von Wardberg brought back.
Yes, sir. I'll get right on that.
And Mr. Rayburn?
Yes, sir.
in this case, the gloves will likely be off.
Yes, sir. You see a little bit of a smile come on his face.
Captain, just to
Mhm.
clarify for the record, are you invoking a certain article of Section 31? And he looks at you dead serious, like he's had that conversation before with somebody else.
As the senior Starfleet officer in the sector, unless some admiral's hiding out somewhere, particularly since Admiral Marcus has been dead, I don't think I need to invoke Section 31, number 1. And with the evidence we have of an invasion, I believe I'm fully under my authority as the senior officer during a de facto state of war.
What I mean to say, sir, when you say the gloves are off, there are certain articles of Starfleet protocol that require certain rules of engagement. So that is why I'm clarifying if we're still operating within our normal protocol.
Well, number 1, by the gloves are off, I mean that we are in a de facto state of war, and that therefore our primary mission is to defeat the enemy. Now, we will attempt to minimize loss of life wherever possible, but again, our primary objective must be to defeat the enemy and make him incapable of conducting further operations against the Federation.
Of course, sir. I just wanted to make sure that was clear for the record.
Mm.
Kind of looks over at Beckman and kind of like takes a breath for a second and looks back. Like,
Now,
oh no, I don't like it when captains talk like that.
I will be more than willing to stand before any board of inquiry after this is over. Until then, however, we are on a war footing with all that implies.
Very good. Commander Beckman, Dotson, anything to add? We've covered all the points I was hoping to catch.
Do you happen to find the bodies of 252 crew members from the station?
According to our search, there wasn't a single body on there. The whole station was empty.
Or in the immediate area, as if they had been spaced.
I would presume either they were lost on the way to your world or they were captured. But I can't confirm that at this time.
Or the infiltration is far greater and deeper than we would have guessed.
Possible. Aye, sir. Very possible.
Is there anything else, gentlemen?
Sir, might I recommend that for the time being we remain at security alert with armed guards on all decks and extra personnel at potentially critical systems?
Make it so, Mr. Rayburn, but also make sure that all of those extra personnel, and especially the armed guards, have been screened on the quantum level before deployment.
Of course, sir.
I believe that's everything, Captain.
All right, gentlemen, this is not particularly something I ever wanted to have to deal with, but we find ourselves in this situation, and it may very well be that the fate of the entire Federation depends on what we do in the coming weeks. So let's do our jobs, and let's do them well.
Aye, sir.
Dismissed.
And with that, I think we'll call this session to a close.
Hooray!
Happy time.